Monty Paulson. I lead the Passive House team at RDH Building Science, and I am very honored to see you and welcome each and every one of you to this Passive House Happy Hour hosted by Passive House Accelerator. As you all know, this is an inclusive gathering. We are here welcoming all Passive House communities, as well as everyone else working to create zero emissions buildings with less embodied carbon. So please turn on your cameras. We want to see your face. Please turn on your microphones for a minute. We'd like to hear your toast. And let's all join in a toast to the successful completion of the longest running Passive House conference of all time.
Here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We've
Amazing.
survived.
Ken, amazing.
Hi, Tim. I'm okay.
We've survived coronavirus this far and the NAPHN conference. So
Crazy.
now, please
Broke out the good
close
stuff
that.
this week. Broke out the good stuff.
Right. I want one of those.
All right, so please close that other app you've got open because we're going to hear from two of my personal heroes tonight. First up is Tim McDonald, who's going to tell us about the upcoming New Gravity Housing Conference, which runs for only 3 days, beginning next Wednesday, August 5th. That's next Wednesday. And then we're going to hear a debrief from Bronwyn Berry, looking ahead to what's next with the North American Passive House Network. Now, please allow me to introduce my co-host, Prudence Ferrer.
Hey everyone, I'm Prudence Ferrer. I lead the Passive House practice for Morrison Hirschfield. And if you're joining us for the first time tonight, it's our 20th anniversary. All right, I mean, it's only been 20 weeks, but nevertheless, we still have a lot to celebrate. First, we're still here. Second, as Monty mentioned, we survived the North American Passive House Network Conference, which was our community's first conference during COVID, and it was hugely successful. And third, we have a second Passive House conference during COVID being announced, so those are all great things. And since it's our 20th anniversary, and we at Passive House Accelerator and all of you are an earnest and thoughtful group of do-gooders, to mark our 20th show, we want to reflect, look forward, and most importantly, ask how we can do better. For our regulars, we adore you all. We love seeing your bright faces every week, brainstorming, sharing successes and challenges, and laughing together, making fun of each other. For those of you who are new to our little Passive House community, which is growing, we love you too. And we're thrilled to have your fresh perspective. In fact, we need your fresh perspective. And it's actually your questions, especially your questions, that keep the Passive House community alive. I've been teaching new Passive House consultants for 8 years, and at the beginning, middle, and end of every class, I try to remind everyone the only stupid question is an unasked question. In fact, more than ever, as a community pivots to meet the new reality we live in, it's essential to ask questions which may seem basic or obvious, because we might find that there are new answers or new factors that we just hadn't considered before. Passive House is a living, breathing approach to healthy, comfortable, durable, high-performance, low-carbon buildings, and it's exactly the questions of newcomers that help keep it vibrant and alive. So tonight, we'd like to specifically and sincerely request to hear from those of you that are new to our community. You're the future of Passive House, so welcome. And thank you proactively for the gift you give us in adding your voice to ours. Also, new to the show, because Sean is just too popular, we have a dedicated question line. It's called GPHHH Questions, so ask all of your questions there.
And if you missed it, we just saw a fantastic serenade from, or blues croon from Tim McDonald about the New Gravity Conference. So we'll share that on video at some point. It's pretty fantastic. All right, thanks. Hopefully that was a fun session there in the breakout rooms. I'm going to go through some quick announcements and then we'll get to the main program. The first announcement is we're very pleased to announce that Baxter Ingwe Architects has become a founding sponsor of the Passive House Accelerator. So thank you to Michael Ingwe and the team at Baxter Ingwe for their support of all of our work. Tomorrow, New York Passive House Architects Focus Series will address Passive House Details Applied, and this will be presented by Baxter Ingui Architects, and I'll be sharing links in chat in a moment. On Friday, and you're going to hear from Mark a little bit later, the Friday BS Friday will focus on a live kickoff of the New Gravity Housing Conference, and you'll hear more later. On August, I don't have that. That's bad. I will put in chat that is August 5th. This is the webinar session for the 24th International Passive House Conference. So the conference itself of PHI is held September 20th and goes on into October. But there will be a webinar session that orients folks to the conference and how it's gonna work. So you can get some good information from that. And of course, the New Gravity Conference, as was so entertainingly and soulfully shared with us by Tim McDonald, is listed there. Finally, I want to thank our sponsors for making our work possible. So Mitsubishi Electric, Zola Windows, RDH Building Science, and Baxter Ingui Architects are our founding sponsors. Our stakeholder partner is NYSERDA. And thank you to our patron sponsors, Morrison Hershfield and 475 High Performance Building Supply. And with that, I will hand it off to Prudence.
A proper introduction of our featured guest tonight would take most of the happy hour. She is very multifaceted and one of the sheroes of Passive House. Her superpowers are big picture thinking, facilitation, and connecting, both creating new connections where none existed previously and fixing broken ones. And telling her something can't be done gets her riled up, and then watch out, she will make it her mission to see it done. She is a doer. And when she ran the women's crew for Habitat for Humanity, she taught 300 women how to use power tools on the deck of her backyard. Woo-hoo! She's a leader, both helping found Passive House California and the North American Passive House Network, for which she currently serves as president. She is a global citizen, schooled on 3 continents and 3 school systems, and one of probably a very small handful of people on the planet who was legally able to vote for both Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama concurrently. And she's one of the early uber geeks of PHPP, spelunking far into hidden cells of the spreadsheet to innovate optimization tools to make other consultants' lives easier. And doing a deep dive into window modeling approaches way back when to explain the differences when none of us knew between NFRC and PHI protocols. Not only demystifying for the rest of us, but getting us all excited about what she, with her eyes shining, called window porn. Her enthusiasm is contagious and underpins her abilities to bring Passive House to new groups, advocating on myriad fronts, including with the United Nations and various jurisdictions on both coasts. She's most proud of North American Passive House Network's policymaker gatherings hosted around the past 5 conferences, along with the 2019 Policy Resource Guide. And we're thrilled to hear from her on highlights from the conference, what she's most excited about, and what she sees as the Passive House community's next steps in catalyzing industry transformation. A warm welcome to Bronwyn Berry.
Thank you so much, Prudence, for that really kind introduction. I forgot about the window porn, but that presentation did get a lot of eyeballs on it for probably not the right reasons. So, can everybody see my screen? Got it. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to whip through this. Zach gave me some very sage advice to focus on just 3 things, and I've tried to do that assiduously and edit, because I could really talk for a long time about what we're up to here. But first of all, I wanted to make a point that we are no longer driving, so we are cycling towards industry transformation. And that is for my friend Lloyd Alter. I hope you enjoy that little insider joke. Oh boy, I went a couple slides ahead. Oh, sorry, my clicker is not, there we go, finding it. Okay, so I'm going to just go through a little quick overview about NAPHN for those of you new to the community and who may not know who we are. I'm not going to bore you too much there. Then I'm going to jump into the highlights about the conference we just concluded, and then go to what you really want to know, which is about what we're doing next. So a quick overview of NAPHN. Our mission is really all about industry transformation, and we really are looking towards building that sustainable, post-carbon, all renewable energy future, utilizing the International Passive House standard promoted by the Passive House Institute. And our programs are based on training as the foundation core program. We really strongly believe that nothing can happen without good training. Then we obviously put on conferences, and all of you today, well, at least a bunch of you, I hope, were able to attend the conference. We do a lot of advocacy work through resource guides and through our chapters and affiliates. We've been supporting that work for a while now. And we are recently also now a membership organization. So we'll talk a bit more about that. We recently just put together a fantastic value statement because we are moving towards a bit of an overhaul on our branding and marketing materials. And we wanted to really start with who we are as an organization. So we've come up with these fantastic values that you will see continuously permeating the work that we are doing. And just to really clarify, we are now hosting chapter organizations who are now wholly underneath our fiscal and organizational umbrella. And these are our 5 fabulous chapters we're very proud of, who still maintain their own independent websites and solicit membership through their regional networks. And then we work very well with a bunch of Passive House independent organizations across North America who are our affiliates. And we are really, as I say, the network is part of what we really make sure that we keep building and building those connections. Okay, so on to the highlights. Before I get into the highlights, I want to make sure that everybody knows that if you are and have already registered, you can still go back until the end of the year. All of the programs and the sessions are still online, and you can go back and watch them and rewatch them and screenshot them and record them and do whatever you want with them. And to do that, just so you know, you just need to log into your login, go to the launch, the virtual conference, and then when you get to this window, pick on the days that you want to watch and then click on the specific sessions. So pretty easy, 1, 2, 3, click, go in and keep watching. And just very special for everybody here on tonight's Accelerator, if you haven't already registered, we're keeping this open until tonight with the code PH2020 HH15. So happy hour, and it's a 15% discounted rate off the conference. So only open until tonight. We have to close the registration tomorrow to be able to wrap everything up financially. Okay, what did I really enjoy from this year's conference? And you know, I have to say there were amazing sessions, and I have to also confess I haven't watched all of them yet. So I too will be logging back in to watch the backlog of sessions that I wasn't able to catch all together. But the ones that I did see, amazing work, really showing that Passive House is no longer niche. With Stephen Winters alone being working on over 9 million square foot of Passive House in North America, tells you that Passive House is no longer a niche market. She also went over some costs that were phenomenal, indicating how Passive House projects range between 1% and 8% above code compliant buildings. And really, there wasn't a huge difference between, where the size of projects in terms of cost. And, just having that data really validates what we've been hearing for many years here in North America. The other session that I thought was phenomenal, and real shout out to the team that put together the asset valuation session. You ladies and John as the thorn amongst the roses really did a fantastic job. The data you're collecting is really really mind-blowing as an asset valuation product and tool for our community. That work you're doing is phenomenal. Thank you. The comment that really stood out for me there was that the certified project that they monitored still performed better than all the other projects that only just used the standard as a target metric. So that was really interesting, really good justification that the cost of certification is worth the price of entry. And then lastly, the roundtable sessions, mind-blowing information from our fantastic set of participants from the Owners Developers Roundtable, really showing and really demonstrating to policymakers particularly that owners and developers are not afraid of going beyond code. They just need to have a clear target. So this is the message I will be taking to them as we move forward with further advocacy. The other sessions that were just mind-blowing, and I'm sure all of you probably have been hearing from everybody a similar response. The sessions from our Chinese friends from PHI on the Chinese developments were phenomenal. If anybody really wants to see where components are heading, the session on the heat pumps from Thomas McKeska was phenomenal. Berthold's presentation on all the components with his team from PHI was amazing. And the video tour of the Passive House Museum was also really fantastic, and shows that, with our Chinese friends in the global Passive House community, we will be able to move mountains quite literally. So the other thing that really stood out from the conference was going back to the original concept of why Passive House was developed. In the COVID context, where fresh air ventilation and dedicated outdoor air systems are now being touted as the solution, going back to the original standard of why Passive House was developed really resonated this year in many of the sessions, where this idea of hygiene ventilation, which is where the standard started, and how all the components actually are designed to work in service of being able to deliver 100% fresh air ventilation, really hit home. And again, given our context in the middle of a pandemic, the idea of having hygiene criteria in all of our components really starts to make a whole lot of sense. But what I'm seeing over and over again is suddenly everybody is now waking up to the importance of this in our building environment. And this session that I was lucky to participate in, where we collaborated with the Reset Air folks, looking at how to really adapt buildings and use Passive House with other standards like Reset Air, was another highlight for me personally. So what's next? Many of you have not seen this yet, because even we at NAPHN are scrambling to still put the final polishing touches on this. It's been a real additional labor of love, but there is another fantastic resource guide coming out this year. All of you who are registered will receive this in the coming weeks. The owner's manual. We developed this in conjunction with the Owners Developers Roundtable to support owners going to Passive House, and include some fantastic contributions from members of our community, Philip Hayes, Zach Semke, Deborah Little, Michael Ingui, all the people you've heard of. They all brought their fantastic knowledge and made contributions to this guide. We've got a smoothing certification tips section, how to really help smooth certification process from a bunch of people from the North American Certified Circle. And then we have a section on monitoring, because this was definitely another section of our conference that we emphasized. Being able to capture the data from your projects is really important for our policy efforts and our advocacy efforts, and helping support you guys on how to do that is part of what we are delivering in this owner's manual. So look for that soon. Obviously, we are still going to be doing a lot on training. We hope to be expanding our training platform. We are fortunate that we had already received a grant from NYSERDA to turn our CPHD training into an online platform. That is rolling out. We've already hosted our first session in that. We have 2 more sessions coming up this year where you can log in and do everything online remotely from the comfort of your living room. And for today, I'm sharing another special code that will give you 100% off registration in these training courses. So online_CPHD, when you log in to do one of these courses, you will get $100 off, and you should hurry because that's going to expire on August 15th. And we will certainly and have been doing a lot more policy advocacy, really being able to work with policymakers to help them how to use Passive House to drive conventional code adoption and build the market for the industry transformation that is embedded in our mission. We have been looking really closely, quickly, at really how Passive House really doesn't typically align with conventional code, because it's not an incremental increase in efficiency each 3-year cycle like much of the codes are and how they're structured. So it doesn't fit very comfortably within a conventional code framework, but it is being utilized to leapfrog code advancements across the globe. And we really are showing policymakers how to utilize Passive House to transform industry and really support development and the comfort of how industry can go way beyond. So the other thing is, and this was there was no coincidence that we had Dan Heath present this year, because he talked all about upstream interventions, and we know that's exactly what Passive House is, and really laying that out in a development timeline to show that upstream intervention really is the key to delivering high performance buildings and transforming a market. The other thing, we were joking in the prep session yesterday that this is what I've been telling everybody. This is a slide that I've been showing to all sorts of people, CPUC, the CEC here in California, the German American Chamber of Commerce, because we in California know exactly how to deliver these kind of integrated components, as long as they're a phone. And what I've been jumping up and down for and saying, this is what we need for our building industry. We have yet in North America to develop any integrated components that really optimize and utilize the benefit of shared resources. And so this is something that at the NAPHN, we will be really working hard to make sure that we get more HVAC, well-designed HVAC components that utilize the benefit of shared efficiency to leapfrog where we need to go for our industry transformation. So, and then in conjunction with that, the primary energy renewables framework is another area, an aspect of Passive House is still very unexplored and not quite, grasped fully by even people who are already Passive House certified. And this is something we will be developing, we're committed to developing further resources for you guys, looking at what your local primary energy renewables factors are. And we have even been started initiating conversations with local organizations to vet and confirm the PER factors for our North American regions. And lastly, I'm sure I'm already running out of time. How am I doing there, Zach? The other thing that really came out of the conference was this crossover and integration of embodied carbon calculations. Passive House advocates and consultants are already very facile at calculating things because we are data nerds at heart. So we really had a lot of sessions this year really looking at the tools that allow really good embodied and operational carbon emissions to be actually calculated together. And Tim Martell allowed me to share this slide with you. It's a plug-in tool for PHPP that is allows analysts to be able to calculate embodied carbon with operational carbon. And this is the direction that we really want the NAPHN to help steward the integration of these into one tool. And whether that's the pH ribbon tool or any other tools, we will support you all. So share your tools with us. We will help promote and distribute them. And finally, wrapping up here, we are also committed to working much more closely with the North American Certifier Circle, our very own local certifiers here in North America who have been really growing the market with us. We want more projects actually certified because we've seen and we are now able to show the value add for certification. It really does also help with the advocacy efforts. We've seen that with all of our policy work over the last 10 years. And of course, collaborating with our other organizations in the same space. BX is a partner that's been working with us on the education program, the online platform. They have a primer coming up on Wednesday, August 12th. They're also working on this carbon emissions calculator to support New Yorkers who need to comply with that local law 97, which I talked about in the closing plenary, which I think is fantastic. And they are going to have more education tools available on their platform. So check that out and let's continue working together. So that's it from me. I really look forward to a lot of your questions. There's a ton of work to be done to keep moving and accelerating Passive House adoption here in North America. We have some fantastic new programs coming out. I encourage you to join either NAPHN, one of our chapters, or to work with your local affiliates to keep pushing this ball further up the hill. So thank you to the Accelerator for hosting me. I really appreciate this opportunity and the fantastic work that you guys have been doing and all the promotional work you've done for the conference. As I say, I often am heard saying, Passive House is a team sport, and you guys are awesome team players. So thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you, Bronwyn.
Thank you very much, Bronwyn. Let's open this up for questions. I know we have some queued up. And let me just add, in addition to my thanks for the conference and for all the amazing work we've done, this is definitely a family organization. And if people have kind of comments or general discussions about how we can organize better than the community that you don't feel it's absolutely necessary to frame your small stump speech as a question to Bronwyn if you don't need to.
Okay, Gwill, you are up first. Gwill, you still there?
I am. I just don't remember actually posting a question.
No worries. Well,
I
it's
just
funny.
asked. I asked
Richard tried to steal it, so go for it. It's an easy general one.
It was just actually about. I was just wondering if anybody knew if the conference that the fabulous conference that we all just attended for the last couple of weeks, if the on-demand sessions were available for CPHD points as well as the live sessions. I didn't think it was particularly clear from some of the information that I read. That was all. Wasn't sure if anybody was informed on that or not. That was all.
Well, I'd have to say I have to defer to our marketing person who's taking care of all the CEU credits. That's sort of granular info that I've been really delighted to no longer have to be able to be on top of. So I would say just email info@naphnetwork.org, and Sharon and the staff team will get back to you on that. I'm pretty sure you should be able to get credits for the, if you watch a session, it's all tracked. We have the data, who watched what, and yeah, that's the beauty of virtual is we get to see who watched everything, and it's been phenomenal attendance. So yeah.
I'll do that. Thanks very much.
Sure.
I'm gonna get to Anthony's question in a second, but Bron, again, there was so much praise for you in the chat and the event, and again, the fact that we can go back to view them is fantastic. So a lot of praise with all of that.
Till the end of the year, apparently. So, you've got until December 31st to watch, keep watching and, form little fan clubs for the sessions.
They are great. Anthony, if you're there, I know your question may not be targeted for Bronwyn, but go ahead and ask it. Or Anthony, I know it might have been answered in the question, but are you happy with the answers? If not, I will skip you and go to Teresa. I think I'll go to Teresa. Teresa, you there? Oh. Okay. All right. That's it for what I had. I guess hopefully we didn't scare you with trying to set up a question link and you guys didn't use it to answer any questions. So
I have to say there's some great comments and compliments, and I have to say right back at you. Cho made a comment, and I have to say in the videos that you put together of the children teaching about Passive House were one of the most amazing highlights. I didn't get to include them, but boy, I was squealing with delight watching those, so thank you. Daphne Catherine, and shout out to you too. Your video had me absolutely cackling like a, crazy banshee watching here in my own living room. The tours were phenomenal, and you know, really we just put the platform together and you guys are the stars. So it was phenomenal to watch what you brought to the table and to the show. maybe I'd love to hear from people, highlights that you guys, that I haven't identified, but I would really love to get comments about what sessions you really, what really stood out for you, and just those little aha moments that we get in conferences that really drive us for our projects and adopting stuff and policy. Please put your hand up and share, because this is the live version that we missed in this particular conference. We only had text chats, but tell us what you really found amazing, what sparked new ideas for you. I'd love to hear.
Well, Bronwyn and everyone at NAPHN, you guys are amazing, and Passive House Accelerator for putting these happy hours has been incredible. But overall, the conference was just so well-rounded. For someone who's been doing Passive House for a while, just having the new topics such as embodied carbon, all the advancements in policy and the current works going through vis-a-vis policy, from all the Passive House tours to see, the ground up of everyone doing it in the field, just you name it. I think that this year you guys really ran the full gamut. And there truly was material for everyone. I learned so much, and I can't tell you how grateful I am. I think I asked Ken 2 weeks ago whether the conference was going to be available afterwards, because the only frustrating thing I have to say was that I can only watch one session at a time. And there was one time where I kept flipping back and forth and I got all crazy. So I was like, I gotta watch the ones that I missed. So thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to follow up on all the ones that we did miss till the end of the year. And truly everyone in the Passive House community, seeing all of your faces and all the comments, even the chat format, I learned so much just from all the intelligent questions that everyone's asked. It was phenomenal. So, it's really bizarre. And the whole transition to remote, I know that was a very last minute thing, and I can't tell you how impressive it's been, and you guys really pulled it off. And I'm sorry, I think so much. I'm just gonna finish to say congratulations to you guys all. You, Bronwyn, you really are a superwoman, and Ken, I know we've had a lot of interaction with you, and I think you guys all really need to have a applause. Really amazing.
Thank you. And as you say, none of this ever gets done alone. And, Ken, Sharon, Suzanne, exactly. Lori, Craig, and, we had a fantastic team putting together the Owners Developers Roundtable that was curated for months ahead. We had a fantastic team working with Ken on putting the programming together and curating the sessions. There was lots of scrambling in the background because of COVID. Ken, honestly, if you want to really know, there's a background story, but it's, not worth digging into because it's ancient history now. But putting on a virtual conference was really scary. But as you said, what we found was, because we pre-recorded everything, we now have captured this amazing amount of content, and we can go back and keep watching it. So that really became a fantastic asset. And this is something that we, at the close of the 2018 conference in Pittsburgh, I sort of boldly announced that we were going to go virtual, and then 2019 rolled around and we were like, maybe not. So we finally got our wish and went virtual. And just interestingly, the statistics on the watching of all of the sessions held up throughout the 6 weeks. And each session, just so you presenters all know, we had upwards of 250 to 300 people watching each session each week, which is actually way higher than we could have done in person, because our in-person conferences, we would have 4 to 6 tracks, and you could generally only get like 50 to 80 people in each track. So the virtual actually increased the amount of people who could actually watch the sessions, and will actually continue to increase that because of the recording. So very interesting for us. We'll be doing a deep dive into the back end, the statistics, and analyzing what worked. We will be also reaching out to you guys to get feedback. There's some things, every year you can improve on, and this whole virtual world is a completely new one to everybody, virtual conferencing. And we, intend to keep getting better. So thanks, In, though. That was great to hear. And as I say, kudos to you for the videos.
Thank you. Yeah, it was an honor to do for you guys and for everyone. And there will be more throughout the years.
Can't wait.
Yeah, the kids really sell it, so it's fantastic. And again, the stats is fantastic. Thanks, Bronwyn, for the update. Do you got a couple questions? First off, Juhani.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Sean. I'm an architect in New York, and I'm currently doing my CPHD training. And I'm pretty new to the community here, but I'm completely overwhelmed by how much great content is out there, and all of you people with amazing experience, expertise that's so open about sharing everything. I mean, it's just amazing. So I'm also trying to work full time, unfortunately, currently in a non-passive house architectural firm that the clients that we have aren't really that interested in energy efficiency. So I'm working on transitioning into a new phase of my life there. But at the same time, I still do have that full-time job, and I'm with my wife raising a 18-month-old at home. And I am just overwhelmed with the sheer amount of amazing content that's out there, and all the conferences and all the webinars and all the virtual tours. I feel like I'm so fortunate to have access to all this, but I feel like there's no way I can do it all. And I was hoping someone could tell me what I can focus on, or especially over the next month through the end of September. My exams in September, I need to be studying for that at the same time. So if anyone has tips of like the best things to focus on, I'd really appreciate it. And thank you all again. It's just an amazing community you have here.
Thanks, Juhani. And it's fantastic to have more people coming on board. And the advice I would give you is follow your own passion. Find the part of Passive House that you are most comfortable with, and just, you can keep digging. It's amazing. But find start with the stuff that you are already interested in. And honestly, I've been doing this for 2007. I'm still learning, and there's still more to dig into, and that's what's so compelling. But just start with where you're at, and just enjoy the ride. It's a big adventure, and you don't have to know everything, and that's what the rest of us are here for.
I'm paralyzed by the fear of missing out. There's so much.
We all are, for sure. That's why luckily we've got the
normal.
We've got the event to go back to. So fantastic.
Thanks so much.
My advice for you is, if you have a client that isn't interested, I just tell all my clients, I'm going to have this conversation with you, whether you want it or not. I'm going to have this conversation with you, and then you can elect after the conversation. We'll do a code building for you. But I'm going to have this conversation with you first. And if architects are the only ones that can really drive this, mechanical engineers aren't going to do it. Energy advisors aren't going to do it. Architects are. And so that would be my advice. Just have the conversation, always have the conversation. Tell your client, I'm going to have this conversation with you, and they'll all listen. They're usually interested enough to at least give you that time.
Mm-hmm.
Great advice, Scott. And now, if you know, Scott only does passive house buildings and has 17 of them. So he got most of them. Julie had a question. So you're next, Julie.
Sorry about that. I was just wondering, I love the idea of the owner's manual. I think it'll be super helpful. And I was just wondering if you have to be a member in order to get that information when it is put out there.
So Julie, we are sharing that with all the registered attendees first, because of course that's the protocol. The policy resource guide we did eventually load up onto our website. It's open for everybody. The owner's manual will probably follow the same pattern. So, you know, it's just how urgently you want it is really the question.
Thank you.
Sure.
And Terrence, you're up next.
While we're waiting for Terrence, Juhani, I switched my practice to only doing passive house. And once you sort of make that switch and you just say, when new clients come to you, you say, well, if you want passive house, I'm your woman. If you want code compliant, there's a bazillion other architects out there can do that for you. So, and people find me, I'm terrible at marketing myself. I have a pretty horrible website. I collaborate with a lot of builders who bring me projects, but they know I only do passive house, and I drew that line a long time ago and I've never looked back. And it just makes that debate, you know, you never have to have that discussion. It's just end of story. It's a big leap, but you could do it. And I think, you know, there's enough compelling data and information. We've provided it all for you at the conference to show that it's absolutely worth it, and all the money and the health and the, you know, comfort and the hygiene and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. It's almost like, it's kind of dumb to do code compliant. In fact, it's way more risky, which is exactly what the owners and developers roundtable showed us, is a code building is way riskier. So
hey, I'm going to jump in with Terrence's question. I don't know if he's still here, but other people might benefit from hearing the answer. He asks, what is the best source to find out about tax credits by state for passive house or net zero homes? And Bronwyn, I know you have a policy guide.
We do the policy resource guide. You can do a search for NAPHN policy resource guide. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the list of the low-income housing tax credits. Tim McDonald and the New Gravity Housing Conference would very likely be the perfect place to get that information. Different states have different credits available. We haven't really put that together in a cohesive document. It would be something that would be really helpful, but it's such a moving target, and Tim McDonald has spearheaded that work. So I would recommend that Tim would be the guy to reach out to.
Thank you. And also, I just want to mention for folks, it is totally a moving target, but there is, the PHIUS website actually has a list, and some of the links don't go exactly to where you want them to go. And most of the tax credits or incentives are standard agnostic. It doesn't matter if you're doing PHI or PHIUS. So that's a pretty good resource to get started. And there may be more out there that Tim knows about too. I'll go ahead and paste that in the chat so we don't have to all go searching.
Cool.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, Zach, off to you.
Sorry about that. I was muted. That's no good. So I want to make a quick announcement about next week's happy hour. We're going to be aligning with the New Gravity Conference, which Wednesday of next week is the first day of that conference. And this is going to be a really fantastic presentation. Sangeetha Sambandam is working on a lot of multifamily passive house projects that are supported by Connecticut's LIHTC policies, which Tim has helped spearhead around the country. So she will be presenting a multi-phase project that has both, some phases will be PHI certified, others are PHIUS certified, should be really interesting, so you don't want to miss it. I want to now throw it to Mark Wiley, who's going to say a couple words about this Friday's kickoff for the New Gravity Conference. Mark, take it away.
I can't help but say, Zach, I love the artwork first.
Thank you.
That can't be stepped over.
This is the 7-year-olds there. Yeah, that's the 7-year-old's pineapple. Here's the
Really?
14-year-old pineapple. Thanks.
I would love to hear the R value of that skin. So the new Gravity Conference, Tim kicked us off with a song I'm not going to sing because everyone's going to unplug. But the new Gravity Conference goes for 5 months straight, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's the longest conference in history. And I'm always full of crap. So August 5th through the 7th, it's pretty phenomenal. There's 65 presenters in all. It starts at 12, ends at 5. And right after that, you get to come here for the happy hour and stir it up some more. So for everyone that wants to hear some insights, you know, Tim and David Solomon are pretty amazing people. Leah from Green Building United and Katie from Illinois Green Alliance will all be on for BS Fridays, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
I'm going to mute myself, brother.
All right, it's Monty.
Hello?
Monty, you're up, man.
All right. Well, my gosh, it's an hour already. How does it go so quick? Well, thanks everybody for sticking around for the official first hour. There are lots of questions I hear in the queue, so quite a few of us are going to stick around a little bit longer. But thank you so much for another great week. And if you do need to go for it, and we'll see you back here next week. Prudence?
I would be remiss if I didn't make my usual request to send in your videos. We still need videos. We want tours of your passive house projects. So please don't forget, doesn't need to be perfect. We just want to see. Everyone have a good week if you don't hang with us. And if you do, then let's keep it going.